Welcome back to Digiburst, guys. We've got another EX2 match here. It's good to be playing with these new cards considering here in Australia we've only had them for a week now. So we have D-Reaper, or just Reaper, or just D-Reaper, or Mother Reaper, or whatever you want to call it. Reaper on the right, and Beelzemon on the left. Two very fun, interesting decks from EX2. It's good to see these new Digimon cards on play. Looks like it searches the Tamer and the Beelzemon. And Reaper just moving up, eating the egg, eating the Searcher, playing another Searcher for 1 cost. Searcher's got the effect where if you don't have a Searcher on the board, you can play it for only 1 cost, and then it draws a card. Looks like they already got the feat. Pendulum Feat's really good because it can just search cards. And searching cards is really good for early game to set up your board, set up your hand. So getting the early punching here with the Impmons. The first Impmon lives hitting into a Searcher, and the second Impmon dies hitting a Searcher. The Beelzemon player has a very odd situation because a lot of their removal cards are restricted by levels, so like they would scale up if they have a certain number of cards in trash for their levels. But because the Reaper cards don't have any levels, they're completely unaffected by those removal cards. So it's a very difficult scenario here for the Beelzemon player, so they have to just go in as early as possible to try to outpace this Reaper deck. And Reaper just going super wide. They now have 3 bodies on the board that can hit security with 2 feet and a bubbles. And these guys are feeling pretty safe on the board, because Beelzemon has very difficulty removing things that don't have levels. And unfortunately that Impmon living in the security hit going to Digimon, and then just scaling up into a ultimate. But if the Reaper can put another search underneath, then they could just suicide one of these feet or bubbles into the Skull Betamon. Because all of the Reaper cards gain an extra 1,000 for every searcher underneath the mother, or any searcher as a source inherent effect, of course. So now we've got 5 underneath mother. That means all these feet are 8k, so they could easily punch over the Skull Satamon. This will trigger the Hagu to mill 2. The option card I think gains a memory, and then they play a Impmon through one of the mill cards. Just hitting into security here, then going into a blocker to slow down the advances of the Impmon player. Because if they had a hybrid, they could swing with both these rookies and then swing for game with the hybrid, but the blocker here is very smart to stop that. So Impmon just milling 2, and not getting any good triggers off anything. Going into the Beelzemon, but now that the Tamers are tapped, there's no risk of a hybrid coming out. It's scaling up for a quick evolution. I think that might have been... I'm not too sure how they got that effect off. Oh yes, because the they do have 10 in trash, so they can go from into the BT1 Beelzemon. And it looks like they can wrap it up now if they have something that has Rush. Jerry effect, looking at top 5. This one can pick a Searcher to put underneath the mum once it's extended by its own effect. Now we've got 6 underneath the mum. So if they bring out a Reaper, Reaper has... Sorry, not Reaper, the Gatekeeper. Gatekeeper is a very difficult card. Here it is, giving away 11 memory on that Gatekeeper. But Gatekeeper is actually very difficult for Beelzemon to remove because it has no level, and all the level removing cards. Here's the hybrid that we were talking about. If they didn't set out the blocker, then it would have been 2 rookies plus hybrid would have won out the game last turn. But yes, but the Gatekeeper, it's very difficult to remove because it doesn't have a level. It's 10k, so it's really big, or moderately big, and it gives everything -1 security attack on your opponent's board if you have 6 sources underneath the mother. And of course they do. So everything he has -1 security attack. And this Beelzemon has going into the level 7 Beelzemon Blaster mode. So I think this has plus 1 security attack for every 10 cards in trash. So they're just counting now. That's 20, 20 and a bit. So this will actually do, so it has plus 3 security attack from, plus 2 security attack from that effect, and then minus 1 from the Gatekeeper. That's why they only checked 2. So it looks like they can just wrap it up now with Reaper, because they have plenty of swings, and of course Beelzemon only has 1 card in the security, so wrap it up, dude. Swing it in. Yep, and Reaper will take that one quite easily. Yeah, Beelzemon just needs to increase its speed somehow. Get to the... try to trash out that deck as fast as possible to get that extra security attack, and then try to outpace the Reaper deck. Gotta be a hard fight considering their removal FX just doesn't affect much for the Reaper. And of course, Searcher plus Feet is an excellent start for Reaper, just to set up their hand and try to get the Mother plenty of sources as fast as possible. Scaling up, a safe hit with the ultimate here, simply because even though it's like 6,000 DP, it's probably going to hit into a Searcher, so it is relatively safe. Gaining memory back when from the Soulmon Now effect, setting them onto Searcher for 1 cost, and make the pay cost for the Searcher a little bit cheaper with the Mother. Mother's got the extra effect where you can decrease the cost of the pay cost of a Reaper card. Yeah, the Reaper, the Searcher was only 2 cost. Going into an Hitmon here, Hitmon on play, look at top 4, grab any Beelzemons, and then evoing up into a Digimon. Still early game, so that Beelzemon is relatively safe while suspended. Hitting with feet, looks like Beelzemon, the Reaper is just matching the pace, and setting up the blocker is very nice. Just to force the Beelzemon player out of the early game, to force them into late game, and late game of course is where Reaper strives the most, as long as there's no built up security on the opponent's side. So forcing the block here, Dober effect will look at top 3, grab Tamers I think, and then trash the rest. No other triggers. Going in with the Impmon, Mill 3. I'm not too sure the effects going off, but it looks like the Beelzemon player is quite confident. Let me know if there's any less than legal plays going on, but if I was more familiar with the Beelzemon deck, I would be able to tell you. But just building up the Reaper stack now that 3's under. Looks like we'll go for a Jerry for 2 cost, reducing the cost by 3. Suspending, revealing. Any hits? Oh, no hits from that reveal. And they can put him back in any order. Unfortunate, no hits out of that reveal. But if they can put just Searcher for 1 cost, yeah, sorry, the Searcher on the top there, that's part of their trash, so they don't have 2 Searchers on the board. But purple has a memory tamer, so they're being set to 1, doesn't really matter. Getting a memory of the Soulmon, hitting the last security, and then hitting with the Impmon. Reaper is forced to block there. If they can get anything with Rush, then Beelzemon can win this here. They'd have to win it here because I think Reaper can get to 6 sources underneath Mum on this turn here, and then if they hard play the Gatekeeper, and then it's pretty much lights out for the Beelzemon player, because Gatekeeper will checking with Jerry, grabbing a Searcher. Yeah, Gatekeeper is very difficult because you can get the +1 security attack on the Beelzemon, but you'd have to have multiple +1 security attacks in order to wrap up the game, because the Gatekeeper will heal 1. So they will have 1 in the security. And now they've got 6 on the stack. Yeah, looks like it, I think. And here's the Gatekeeper here. Yep, like I said. So they do have 1 security. So the way the Beelzemon player has to win now is to make this Beelzemon have +1 security attack, which they do with this Beelzemon here. And of course they need to give another one of these Impmons +1 security attack. So hitting him with this Beelzemon, they can block this with the hands. Looks like they're going to let it go, hitting a Reaper. The blast mode is big enough to run it over. Paying the memory, the delay to go into the Beelzemon, hitting. They can go into a blast mode from the trash, but it's just blocked, and then paying for that will force a turn pass. And not many cards left in the deck, so that's an alternative win condition for the Reaper player, or they can try to go for security here if they have Reaper in hand. They got 7 sources now, so they can definitely go for Reaper. But looks like they're going for the safer play. Gatekeeper running over the Beelzemon, forcing the mill, and then turn pass. They can't draw, so that will be game over. If you like that one, guys, I've got a couple of EX2 games already on the channel. Check them out, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.